Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Lunch with Dodie. I'm very excited today. We have some great special guests. Charles Baldwin with Sustainable Oregon, and I believe Jenny Matzka will be joining us, who's in charge of coordinating the community garden that is being planned at Robert Frost. And Charles will talk a little bit about that. And I'm hoping Jenny will join us so she can talk more about the community garden and how we as a community, and specifically as seniors, how can we get involved and help? You know, a community garden is a wonderful thing for the community and for seniors who don't have a lot of time and space to garden. And then, you know, working with the kids, it's great working with our youth. I don't think we can do enough of that. Today's lunch is compliments of Subway. I have the $5 foot-long chicken teriyaki. And then for people who joined us today, you'll be receiving a $5 gift card in the mail from us from Subway. So you can enjoy a healthy alternative to fast food lunch. Subway is located at 504 North Water Street, open every day from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. And it's great because you can order ahead and you can drive up and pick it up. And like I said, a nice healthy alternative. So we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, Charles. What's your favorite sandwich? What do you like from Subway? I hope you like Subway, but your favorite
I do
sandwich.
like Subway, and I order there. My wife is a gluten-free person, and so she appreciates the fact that they have gluten-free sandwiches.
Yes.
And I usually order the all-vegetarian sandwich. They just load it up with veggies and maybe a little bit of cheese sometimes, and I really enjoy that.
That's awesome. Well, how about you, Connie? What's your favorite sandwich?
I never remember what the name of it is, but it's the one with, it's the ranch bacon one.
Oh, yes. And now we're going to go on to hear our special guest today, Charles, tell us a little bit about what he's involved with and why he's joining us today. Thank you, Charles.
Well, thank you for inviting me today. My background is largely in research and public policy and economics. I did my training at UCLA in higher education and then later owned a research firm in Los Angeles that led me to Sacramento, where I was the chief consultant to the Senate for many years and ultimately an aide to Jerry Brown in his first term as governor. So I've been involved in quite a bit of public policy issues over my professional career, but I'm retired now, came to Silverton to live with my wife, and we live up on in the foothills just above Silverton. And since I've come to Silverton in 2007, I've been active in a number of community projects in town. The first one that engaged me was cycling. We learned that Silverton did not have a policy on bicycling in the Willamette Valley, and just at the time that we began asking the city about its involvement, a report came out from Portland that showed that cyclists spend $90 million in our area in the central Willamette Valley every year on hotel accommodations and food and cycle related issues, coffee houses and so on. And we wondered if the city was active in trying to capture some of that tourist revenue, and they were not. So we collaborated with the city for about 6 years and began a program that culminated in Silverton becoming designated as a bike-friendly city by the National Bicycle Organization. And this year, the city actually has on its priority list of things to do is to develop a cycling plan. So we've more or less retired our efforts in that area. The city has created a environmental management committee, and they've taken on the task of improving the active transportation network in the town, developing bike trails and bike safe lanes and facilities for cycling, and they've got a cycle repair station outside the city hall if you haven't seen it. So if you're a cyclist, which many seniors are these days, now if they have electric cycles, we can go up and down hills quite easily. So that was my first involvement, and then that led me into a variety of city planning issues. I was involved in the program to save the pool when that was in jeopardy. We created a committee to do that. We found some funding and passed an initiative, a tax initiative to keep the pool open. We created a committee, a task force, really to look at the possibility of increasing park and recreation facilities, particularly for youth sports in Silverton, and started the pickleball movement and a number of other things related. We've been involved with the University of Oregon in its study with Oregon on, with Silverton on energy and climate issues, the development of Pettit Lake property as a park. There are quite a few things that we've done, and in that process, we have been asked to start a program called Sustainable Silverton, which is why you found me here today. The Sustainable Silverton Coalition is an umbrella organization that works with local folks that are involved in food, in education, in transportation, and energy saving, and waste management, and recycling, and all of those elements that are related to trying to make our city and our world a better place to live in and protect us from climate degradation and so on. So those are the issues that I've been involved with and am now involved with. I'm 87 years old, and so I'm a qualified senior citizen at this point in time. I'm not as active as I used to be. My mind still functions well, but my body fails me often. But we do on our property have a large garden. We have a 2.5 acre piece of land, and a lot of that is devoted to vegetables and flowers and chickens. And so we keep ourselves busy. We're not suffering from the quarantine that's in the isolation that everyone else is suffering from. We have plenty to do here, and we are enjoying the peace and tranquility of being in Silverton and having an opportunity to raise our own food and fruits and so on.
Well, Charles, I just want to interrupt. When you were talking about the pickleball, the senior center actually got involved with the pickleball program as well. We weren't able to host it up here, so we worked with the YMCA, and the pool was Christy Horner, and we were the ones who supplied all the pickleballs and the equipment so that people could play. I believe now, because of the COVID and everything, they're playing pickleball out at the old tennis courts at the old high school on Schlater Street.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing, and I brought it up because of your involvement, and I know that you're interested in having a court at the senior center, and if we could get the funds to do it, I think we could have a very active program right at the senior center with pickleball. A lot of seniors are interested in that.
When the building was being built, one of the things we were talking about was a community garden where the dog park is. And I know a lot of our seniors like to garden and can't have the availability of space and everything. I believe that's something you guys are going to be talking about. Jenny, we were having lunch with Subway today, and my question was, what's your favorite sandwich? And then please introduce yourselves and talk about a little about the community garden program.
All right. Well, hi, my name is Jenny Matzka, and I am a teacher at Robert Frost. And my favorite sandwich is probably just the ham sandwich. Usually my son and I split that when we go to Subway. I'm taking on the responsibility of being the garden coordinator, and we're in the middle of trying to renovate or just improve and expand the current garden. It's about 35 years old. In fact, I can't see all who's listening today, but there's several people in the community who are involved with that initial implementation of the garden. So we've had some great luck finding the Silverton Sustainable Silverton Coalition came to us and said, help us out, and that was just exactly what we needed, because trying to get out there and improve that garden is tricky. So we're looking for more volunteers and just things that we can make it kind of a sustainable working garden to help educate kids and get more kids outside for learning. I could let Charles speak a little bit to what he was thinking about, maybe some partnership with the senior center. I think we might have done that in the years past, maybe when the senior center first got started, but I wasn't in charge at that time. So I'm interested in any kind of partnership that we could have and helping out.
Can you describe the garden for us, Jenny? Just a little bit about its dimension and the beds that are there and your plans for expansion.
Sure.
And how the children are going to be in the garden and what help they could use from the seniors.
Yeah, well, right now we have, I mean, it was really well done when it was established so many years ago because it's worked so well. It's got 8 raised beds and then a middle bed, and then in-ground sprinkler system all around the perimeter and every bed, and that's something that we need fixed. And so I'm in the middle of talking to a plumber about that. It's about maybe 40 feet by 30 or so, kind of a rectangle, and we're looking to expand it another 50, I think that's what I counted off, feet towards the perimeter black fencing that has gone up, so towards Westfield. And that would just allow more kids in the garden. You know, we had some old picnic tables about 5 years ago that were wooden and just falling apart, and so we gathered some of our friends together and bought some new picnic tables. We've got 4. Umbrellas can be put in the middle of those for shade, which is really important. And right now, having a class out there is tight still. And it also just needs to be maintained. And so teachers, I think, are very willing to bring their class out there and talk about, you know, anything from science and the planting to just understanding what makes a garden happen and grow and water and soil. And we've had teachers come out there and just read with kids, and they write. Maybe they use some sensory, you know, smelling of things, and then they write poetry. I mean, we've had a lot of different things happen, but because we don't have, well, education's just changed, and what we do in the classroom and the schedules have changed over time. We just aren't getting out there enough to maintain it. So we really could use some help maintain the garden so it's an inviting place for kids to come out. With the expansion, we can definitely have more. It would be a huge difference in having more children come out and be able to do more in the garden, especially more science. And maybe some more raised beds, but right now we're just looking to make more space and then spread out those tables. And because of the whole COVID piece, of course, this fall is going to be very different than years past. We'll have smaller groups of kids, and with the expansion, we can have probably 3 groups of kids out there learning. You know, teachers only going to have 14 kids in there. If we go back, I should say, we will only have about 14 kids in the classroom, because just half the students will come at a time. So it'll be really nice to have it. That could allow for, I would say, probably 3 classes maybe out there with all the spacing we have to do, the 6 feet apart.
I have a question. Is the community garden, is that the one that's kind of between Robert Frost and that church?
The garden, Connie, is on the south side of the school. If you're standing at the door of the senior center and looking at the dog park, if you look to the right of that, you'll see the garden. It's only about 50 or maybe 100 feet away from the door of the senior center.
Oh, so it's not as far down as the playground equipment.
No.
So if I'm standing in the school garden, I can see the senior center.
If people want to volunteer and help with the community garden, who do they contact you? Or what is your process for people who are interested in volunteering?
And in the past, we've just had, you know, the school, and they've called the school, but for right now, they could contact me, which would be perfect.
So right now, the garden's been established and things are growing. You just need help maintaining, like weeding, watering.
Yes, and so right now, what we've had a complete weeding and pulling of old, that really has taken down a crazy amount of things. And we're in the middle of trying to remove the piles that have been created. So we've had this great volunteer group through Silverton Coalition come out, and the weeds were as tall as I was, and you couldn't even walk through. I've never seen something like that before with our school garden. So They literally, I mean, it was amazing. And literally right now, everything is just weeds. I mean, not weeds, but it has been weeded and is just down to the dirt. And so I'm going to, so what we could use right now, there's some kind of detailed cleanup that could happen, you know, some more weeds pulled and just some kind of more, I don't want to say manicuring of it, but, you know, going through how the big stuff has been done. In fact, I was going to walk over there today and just start filling up the 2 green bins we've got that are that everybody has in Silverton.
Can the seniors come down this summer, Jenny, and do some planting and harvesting?
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, we need to get, so right now I'm working on the watering system needs to be kind of looked at first, and then we're going to get some ground cover in there. But yeah, they could work in the beds actually, even without the watering going right now. There's some bags of soil that are sitting out there, and we need to put those in the beds and then just take, you know, there's a few little weeds still kind of left in the bed, so just kind of clean that up and put some fresh soil so it's ready to be planted, and then help with planting would be great.
Awesome.
You know, it's a little bit, we're kind of getting on the time for a fall garden, but we certainly could, you know, use that for sure.
When is the garden open and available to them?
Yeah, so the garden, the school grounds are open now to the public, and so the gates are open, not the gate right there by this would be the easiest by the senior center because it's a locked gate there, but the one around the school on the other side is open by the dumpster between the church and by the gym is open. But I have been going down, people could call me and say that they wanted to go in and volunteer, and I'm around. I'm not really, you know, there's no vacationing.
You probably don't want people just showing up. You'd rather know they were coming, correct?
Yes, great. So what we had was we had a scheduled kind of weeding session going on every, you know, Wednesday at 1 o'clock. There was a crew that came out and really weeded down everything, and that was great. So yeah, something like that would be wonderful.
It's a poison-free garden. You're not using any substances that would be harmful. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're not using anything right now. No, no, we won't. Any Roundup. The only thing that was ever used, there was nothing actually ever used in that garden and there's so many school rules right now. There's really nothing can really be used. I mean, you could spray neem oil and those kinds of things, but there's no plants right now. I mean, it's really been weeded down to, you know, the soil. So we're kind of
planting.
It's time to start. Yeah, it's starting to kind of get some soil in there and get some replenish the beds and
Right now we have a little over 7 minutes left. And is there anything more? Any other questions about the garden?
The one thing we could really, I mean, it would be great in the future here, and I know the immediate future is kind of odd with the COVID and the school and are the kids going to be there, but it would be so great to partner, you know, in the future with just coming over and helping to weed a little bit, or maybe, you know, kids at recess and they could be there and they could interact and, you know, make a connection, you know, not during these times coming up here, but in the future that'd be wonderful. And so we just need help maintaining really and weeding that kind of stuff. Would be awesome.
Would that include, you know, a few tomatoes?
Yes.
What are you going to do with the produce once you grow it? What's the plan?
I know, well, that's what we're working on, and I have a committee of teachers, and we haven't gotten together for a while here, but the idea is to really make it a teachable space. And so maybe one garden bed is native plants and one garden bed is bulbs. You know, like kids didn't even know what a bulb was, you know, and so I planted a bunch of bulbs one year. Maybe the one's an herb garden, you know, things that you can, you know, a sensory garden, something that, so it's kind of a teachable about plant cycles and growing things. And so as far as growing enough to consume, that would be definitely with the expansion, that would be great to do. And we've had them add it to our salad bar in the past, you know, things that we've grown out there. And they've cut the lunch staff has, you know, cut them up and put them on the salad bar for sampling. That's been wonderful. I talked to the lady before all this stuff is happening, because we can't do that now, but and she said that she'd be happy to do, you know, that so kids can get exposed to different kinds of produce.
I want to say, Dodie, a little bit about Sustainable Silverton's interest in the garden.
Yes,
Our interest is actually a little broader than the school's interest in the garden.
right.
We aren't interested in food in general. So we are interested in supporting the food co-op initiative,
Right.
interested in supporting the farmers market initiative.
Mhm.
We are interested in prodding the school to go back to its roots in the Green Schools program. It has been a member in the past. And that program has a curriculum for not only teaching children about the variety of foods and how to plant and harvest them, but also how to compost and how to recycle the foods, how to distribute the foods to people in the community that need fresh food,
That's awesome.
and also about cooking and diet. So we want to work with the school on those subjects as well. There are a number of programs in the United States that have been very successful in this area, and some in Oregon as well. And this school has been and continues to be interested in all these programs. So we want to support them, and we would like to have people from the senior center interested in our broader issues.
Right. Well, one of the things I was thinking of as we're talking, if the garden was a good, successful program, you could even do a community salad bar lunch on Fridays, and invite the community to come and have a salad for $3 or $5 and, enjoy meeting the kids. And you can still do that, I believe, socially distancing. We're learning how to take things to go, how to deliver our services better, and interactions. And the beauty of the garden is it's outdoors, and outdoors is a less likely process carrier of any kind of viruses or diseases. Being outdoors is proven to be healthier for us. There's less chance of catching things, and that's just the Dr. Dodie talking. But I really embrace this project and really like it, and I will help promote it. We do have our Gardening with Dale Small the second Wednesday of every month, and that video is available. We did that to see how it would be as a test run, and it was really successful. So we're going to go back to every once a month Gardening with Dale via Zoom, and he has a lot of interesting things. We talked a lot about ladybugs and natural ways to get rid of your garden pests and that sort of thing. And that's why I thought this was a good follow through with that program, so that we still are talking gardening and availability outside to do things that we can do while we're still socially isolating and semi-quarantine. We do need to do something that's good for the community and for us, and be able to still see each other. That's one of the reasons I like these Zoom meetings. They're slowly taking off, but it's a great way to actually see everybody, and you don't have your mask on, and it's a great way to see Connie. I haven't seen her in person for many months now, and she's been one of our faithful volunteers at the front desk also. And it looks like we're going to be shutting off here